barrel extension. Special missile sends message to your partner. Mission accomplished. You hand over real photograph. Secret Sam with periscope, message missile, rifle stock, barrel extension, even shoots through this carrying case. And this real camera that works in secretly or out. Takes real photos. Secret Sam. Secret Sam.
Here come the Gung-Ho Commandos, best equipped boys in the field. All the equipment you need for fun and excitement in the Gung-Ho Commando outfit by Marks. Just look at all the things you get. There's a battle map and direction-finding compass, a cat shooting automatic with gun belt and holster, a helmet, a canteen, complete mess kit and poncho. You get a cat-firing Gung-Ho hand grenade.
Gung-Ho!
And look here, this flashing battery-powered machine gun with moving ammo belt shoots rapid-fire bullets. There's a real-looking walkie-talkie, too, and a field pack. You get non-com stripes, medals and battle ribbons, even dog tags. It's all for fun and excitement.
Gung-Ho!
Get the outfit with all the equipment you need. The Gung-Ho Commando outfit.
Gung-Ho!
By Marks.
Hi, this is my friend, the Grumman Tiger. It's a jet, and I'm Ralph Donald, its test pilot. It takes a lot of training to control one of these babies. My son Wayne will learn someday. Right now, though, he's getting ready by learning to control a Lionel electric train. With a Lionel train, you not only get locomotives and cars, but all sorts of missile and rocket equipment, too. You can learn to operate these Lionel missile launchers. And fire this IRBM launcher by pressing a button. Wow, and look, you can put this target together and blow it up again and again. And look at this, the Lionel helicopter car. Watch her fly. And remember, kids, you're in control. You're the boss on the Lionel line. Ask for Lionel this Christmas.
Hi, partner, reach!
Hi, fellas.
Roy Rogers!
Say, that's a pretty tricky hat, isn't it? Partners, how would you like to surprise your pals like that? Well, you can with my new Roy Rogers Quick Shooter hat. It's by Ideal. And here's how the Quick Shooter hat works. Just press this secret button right here, and a replica of an authentic Western pistol pops out and fires. It's your secret weapon, even when they think you're unarmed. So get Ideal's new Roy Rogers Quick Shooter hat at your favorite store today, and you'll always be ready for anything. Ask for Ideal's new Roy Rogers Quick Shooter hat.
Marshal, he just dug up the bank. He's headed for Deadwood.
You'll never get away with this, Slippery Sam.
Marshal Bob is riding Blaze, the fabulous new galloping horse from Mattel. See, his legs actually move just like a real horse. There's no other riding horse anywhere that gallops like Blaze. Now watch this. When you bounce on Blaze, he romps along like a frisky colt. He gallops when you rock back and forth on him, but he's so safe, you just can't tip over. Blaze is the safest, strongest horse made.
Okay, Slippery. This is the end of the line.
Almost got away, Marshal, if it weren't for that lightning-fast horse of yours. Where'd you get him?
You can get Mattel's Blaze wherever toys are sold.
And just wait till Dad sees how easy it is to set up. Just pop him out of the box, spread the stand, and tighten just one bolt. That's all there is to it. And see how safe and solidly built Blaze is. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Into the deepest jungles went Pressman toy makers looking for something new. The secret they brought back for you is incredible. The Pressman Witchdoctor Head Shrinkers Kit. Plastic flesh, mixing cauldron, and petrifying potion. Just pour it into the mold, and in minutes you can add monster hair. Paint it with a coloring kit included, or make up your own decorations. In 24 hours, the heads shrink down. Now, shrunken heads for all occasions. Collect them, swap them, give them to your Witchdoctor friends. You can always cook up more with Pressman's Witchdoctor Head Shrinkers Kit.
My name's Snubby Gun. This is my beat. My game, I'm a private eye. Call me anytime. After school, that is. When I play private eye, I come fully equipped with Mattel Snub Nose 38, Snap-Draw shoulder holster, and the fastest wheels in town. When you play private eye, you have to be fast. Fast on your feet, and fast on the draw. Ready for action on a moment's notice. Practice target shooting whenever you can. Load up with Greenie Stickum caps and Mattel shooting shells. If you want to play private eye, get this Mattel gun and holster set. It comes complete with wallet, badge, and ID card. Get extra Greenie Stickum caps, too. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Some fun when Snubby Gun plays private eye, and you can have the same kind of fun with Mattel's Tommy Burst detective set.
The Tommy Burst has automatic bolt action. Fire off a burst of 10 shots. Pull the bolt again, you're reloaded. Or fire single shots like a rifle. The Tommy Burst alone is $3. In the detective set, you also get the Snub Nose 38 and Snap-Draw shoulder holster. The pistol fires Greenie Stickum caps and shoots safe shooting shells.
The exciting new Tommy Burst detective set includes wallet, badge, and ID card. $7 wherever toys are sold.
You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers.
Now, you can make all kinds of lovely things like these with Mattel's wonderful Thing Maker. It makes creepy crawlers, spiders, lizards, snakes, dragonflies. Make them yourself with this nice plastic goop. Choose a mold, pour in the goop, heat it, and presto changeo, you've got bugs. Squiggly, squirty bugs. They feel so soft and natural. You get 4 different colors of goop and special paints. Make charming lizard pins or spider rings. You can collect them or spread them around. They're fun for the entire family. Get Mattel's new Thing Maker with creepy crawlers. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
They're slugging it out in the middle of the ring.
Snow, rain, mud. Your car's bound to get dirty.
So give your car a car wash, make it look like new. Watch it in the car wash that lets you see right through. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash, that's the one for me.
Hey, Mr. Kelly!
Wax it beautifully.
Drive up the ramp, hook the chain.
It runs by battery. Clean, scrubs, and dries your car automatically.
Mr. Kelly's Automatic Car Wash. What a toy! From a hidden tank, fill overhead water tower, hook on car, throw switch, and automatically cars are wet down, scrubbed all over, and dried while you watch. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash comes with 2 late model cars, car wax, towels, sponges, and even a sign.
Hey, Mr. Kelly, clean my car like new. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash lets you wax them too.
Every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls.
Mr. Kelly's Car Wash, that's the one for me.
There I was, out on my first assignment for them. Checked my spy attaché case. Burglar alarm off. Telescope set. Code sender ready. Coding machine okay. Signal flasher on. Passport, spy money. Built-in camera loaded. Microphone ready. Testing 1, 2, 3. He's coming through. Loud and clear. He's coming. Agent to the headquarters. He's coming. Hurry. Well done, Agent 2. Thanks.
Get your super spy attaché case now. Only Sears has it.
Geek to me radio, da 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 da. Geek to me radio, da 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 da.
Welcome, 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 geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to a brand new edition of Geek to Me Radio. Today we're talking for the whole hour with voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, all about his amazing careers. We'll talk about Dota, Dragon's Blood, Spider-Man. We'll get into it all, and we'll take your questions tonight. Stand by.
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors for Hogwarts houses, one ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
And for those of you driving around the greater St. Louis area right now listening on 550 KTRS, thank you for tuning in. If you're streaming us out there, we know we've got the video up. If you're watching us on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, hello to all of you. And of course, you can always text your questions in at, what's the message code? I totally forgot the text. 84126. There it is. I had to see it on the screen. 84126 to text in your questions if you have something to say to Yuri. We'll also open up the phones if you want to take calls. We've got 314-931-5877 are the listener lines if you'd like to call in. Without further ado, Mr. Yuri Lowenthal, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Do I sound okay to you?
Yes, you sound amazing.
Good. I love the whole cave you've got behind you, all the statues, and it's amazing.
Oh, no, you trust me. If I could walk you around my office, you would see that I've probably got almost enough cred to be on this show.
Have you been, now that we've had COVID, everything locked down, have you found yourself collecting more stuff for your office, and is it turning into like a museum?
I mean, it was that way before COVID. I mean, I could blame it on COVID if you want me to. That's actually a great idea.
There you go.
No, I have collected a couple of things since COVID. I'm embarrassed to say this giant Spider-Man statue behind me is a Sideshow collectible that I got, and I didn't realize how big it was going to be, and it is huge. It is beautiful. I spent too much money on it, and like the Nimrod I am, I actually snapped a piece off the other day.
Oh,
and,
no.
I could talk about resale value and all that, but that's not the kind of thing that I'd ever sell. But I'm mad because I can't. It's one of the Thwip fingers. Like now he's just like hang 10. You can't see it from here, and I'm not going to show it to you because I'm still embarrassed.
Now I'm sure there are people out there because I have a Batman chess set and the pieces are all very delicate. And when I was moving it, Huntress toppled forward and snapped off her little crossbow arms, and I had a guy that says, bring that into me, I can glue it on and fix it, no problem. So there's got to be somebody out there. So if you're listening right now and would just like to tweet at Yuri, hey, I can fix that for you, here's how, a YouTube video,
with
something.
With a 3D printer, I need you to mill me part of a Thwip finger.
Perfect. A Thwip finger, that's an actual term. And you would know because you voiced Spider-Man across what's been at least a dozen different projects.
Wow, has it been a dozen at this point? I mean, it's not that I don't trust your research. I trust it implicitly.
I got to say,
Lamar. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, or some sort of dig. It was probably.
Well, I know Samurai Jack is on his IMDb thing, so I didn't lose a credit for that. As my executive producer Joey just pointed out, he said I don't think that dinged him for that one. So good call, Joey.
Right. I will say that probably a handful of those credits are credits that people gave to me that aren't me. Because the IMDb is a free-for-all. It's the Wild Wild West. Anybody can post there. So sometimes people post things that they wished I played or wished I would play, and IMDb is very slow to correct things.
I did not know that.
So a handful of those I'm sure aren't even true.
Huh. Well, and to talk about all the projects you've been, what I saw was you started in 1989 was your very first entry credit. So you've been...
Well, I will tell you this. They do it by the year that the project first came out. So because I've done a lot of anime dubs, if that show originally came out in '89, but I dubbed it later, then it would show up as '89. So I would say I started my career in this field, particularly in probably 2002.
So we know Spidey's origin story, bitten by a radioactive spider. Your origin story, then, since we're going to that part of it, let's go ahead and jump in. What got you into voice work and animation? What was the? Did you know this is where you'd end up?
No, it was a surprise to me. I came out to Los Angeles like many people do to be a movie star or to work in TV and film, and I hadn't even voiceover wasn't even on my radar, which is embarrassing because I grew up watching cartoons and anime and playing video games, and I should have just come out here and tried that, but voice acting never seemed like a job that a regular person could get. There wasn't like a map to, I sort of had an idea of what to do to come out here and start auditioning for TV and film, but I didn't even know where to start for that. It didn't even occur to me as something that was possible. And it was my wife actually who thought up, she said, well, what about voice acting? I'm like, well, I don't know anything about it. She said, well, let's take a class. And so we took a class, and the teacher of that class got a job directing an anime dub and started auditioning his students.
Oh, wow.
And that was sort of my entree into that. I auditioned, I got a role on the thing that he was directing, and was welcomed into a community of, voice actors who did a lot of dubbing. And they're like, hey, I like you. Let me introduce you to, hey, have you called in over at the, and that's the thing. I mean, this community is so giving and so generous and so open and welcoming. I wasn't used to that coming from, a theater, TV and film background. Everybody's really kind of protective and cutthroat in that business. And I didn't trust the people who were talking to me at first here. And, but as it turns out, they're just awesome.
Very cool.
And so it's been great. Yeah.
That's something we've heard from other people is the voice community is it's not the backstabby, whispery behind your back kind of circle. And I think it seems like with the advent of social media, that seems to have only kind of made it more open, because with the world looking at you, you really can't be that way and get away with it nowadays.
Right.
One would hope anyway.
I love it. I kind of love that sort of oversight.
Yeah.
now for people. But yeah, no, it is truly fantastic, and I love the community very much.
So with all those credits we listed and all the different projects, I mean, there's so many great franchises in which you are, obviously Ben 10, Castlevania wouldn't be the same without Alucard. We've got all these great franchises you're in. But I looked too, and very impressed the amount of DC Comics characters you played. You played Lagan in Young Justice. Yes. Superman, you got to play Superman in Legion of Superheroes, Mr. Miracle, The Flash in DC Super Friends, Red Robin, regular Robin, Superboy and Lego DC Supervillains. You got to play a couple of villains like the Riddler and Harvey Dent. You got to play Icicle Jr. That's got to be just to be part of the DC Comics lore to begin with, but to have played over a dozen parts, that's amazing.
Yeah, your logo, the font of your logo shows me exactly where your true alliance is. Yeah, no, it is for somebody who grew up a nerd reading comic books. It is truly still unfathomable that I am that list that you just said, and you even left off a couple.
Oh, I did. Yes.
Yes. No, it's okay. Your research has been flawless.
Thank you.
But yeah, for you to say those things out loud, I still can't even really make sense of the fact that that's, that I'm lucky enough for that to be my job. And I will say that every time I do get to play a character from one of those universes or any of the, universes I grew up with, whether it was, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Dungeons and Dragons, whatever it is, if it was a thing that I grew up loving, then it gets a special little check mark next to the thing for me. I dance like a little girl when, or a little boy who dances whenever something like that comes across. Yeah, somebody noticed once that I had played, so I had played Jor-El in something once, and I played Kal-El, and I also played Superman X or what did we give him? I don't know. I've played a lot of L's,
right?
And as I collect the L's, it makes me extremely happy.
And that's and in the Marvel characters you've played too, between the video games, you've got Nightcrawler and Iceman. You got 2 X-Men right there. You've obviously, we talked about at the very beginning of the show, all the different Spider-Mans that you've appeared in, especially that Miles Morales game. Not only is it fun, but it's gorgeous. Just the visuals on that one. And then obviously some villains like Egghead. We've got right back here. We got your Winter Soldier for you right there in the poster. I'm not sure if you can see me or not, but the video.
I can't. How do I see? Let's see.
Oh, there might be, if you, I think on the Facebook, it's cool. I mean, I don't want to distract you or throw you off. That's fine. But for those people who are watching the stream, there's Winter Soldier on my Thunderbolts poster. I threw that up because I thought it'd be kind of normal to have a Spider-Man thing up for you, but I'd throw a little something different in there. But when you're doing the voices, obviously as a fan, you come in with, this is how the Flash should sound. This is how Superman should sound. This is how, Lagan should sound. Obviously, the directors have a different notion. Is it something you guys find together in the audition process, or is it something that they're like, no, this is what we want, and so that is, as the job, what you give them, regardless of what you thought? Kind of, is it different for each project?
It's slightly different for each project, but I would say that I, give it whatever I think it needs in my audition, and some, more often than not, they don't pick me because auditioning is just, it's just that's just the process.
Yeah.
It's somebody's right for it, and then everybody else is not, right for it. So most of the time, an actor who auditions is not right for it, and that goes for me too. But if I then end up getting called back, which is sort of like a further round of auditions where they sort of whittle it down to maybe like 10 people or 5 people, 3 people, whatever, and then we work with a director, maybe some producers, maybe even a writer, so that we can combine what I thought it was with what they think it is, and then we work together to find something. And then sometimes I'm still not right, but then if I do then get to the final thing and book it, then it's still a process of working together, because I bring what I'm going to bring, but they know what they need too.
Yeah.
And I like to surprise them. But they also, sometimes my surprises are, not as welcome. Well, hey, that was funny, but this is more the direction we're going in. Or, oh, hey, we forgot to give you some background. And they tell me the background. Now that you have the background, does that change your view of that thing? But it is definitely, whether it's it's a video game or a cartoon or whatever, it is definitely a group effort. For sure.
And we had a couple questions come in on the text line. I apologize. I should have said this in the beginning. If you're going to text a question in, just so I make sure I'm calling you out, start it with just your name. Like if it's Corey from Saskatchewan texting in, just say Corey from Saskatchewan, and then the question. But there are 2 questions come in. One, I don't know the name of the person, I'm sorry, says, "Hi, Yuri. There's a lot of new young voice actors who really look up to you. How does it feel to be the standard of what it means to be the heroic male character?"
Wow. Old? No. I again, even when people say that, it doesn't sound real to me. So I'm honored beyond anything, but it also, because I grew up with that too. Like I grew up looking to those people. I didn't always know, at the time when I was watching stuff, I didn't always know who the actors were, but those characters meant a lot to me. And, there's so much of my learning and my, who I became came from, those characters that I was either, watching or, playing when I was playing D&D. So,
right.
So like, those are all so important to me. When somebody says something like that to me, it truly means the world, because I remember a time when I was exactly that person. And yet it doesn't seem like they could be talking about me, it's weird.
And he also said, congratulations on Dota, and keep killing it, Spidey.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Dota just dropped on Thursday, I guess it was. And it's, man, I watched it for the first time pretty much with everyone else. I'd seen little bits and pieces as animation was coming back, but man, it's extraordinary. It's great. It turned out great. I'm super happy.
Yeah, we had the composer, Dino Medigan, who did all the score for it. We had him on the show last Sunday, and we were chatting with him and talked about the composition and how he does all that. So it's kind of cool to hear it from the different perspectives, both the people who work on that production side, the people who do the voice side. And you've had a great voice group with you, D. Bradley Baker, Tony Todd, for crying out loud. He had Laura Polvar,
I'm a
Carrie
huge
Waldron.
horror nerd. So I'm a huge horror nerd. So to have been in the room with Tony where he would say the line, because when Slivian, when sort of our, we come together, no big spoilers here, but it's been out for 4 days, guys.
Right, come on, get on it.
But he would say the line, and then I would have to sort of approximate the timing. They'd be like, Yuri, go. Oh, sorry, I was entranced by Tony Todd and his presence.
And Robert Englund as well. Robert Englund was on this one.
Yes. And while I was not in the room with Robert, I have met him before in the voiceover lobby, as it were, and he's the kindest guy out there, which is funny because that's not what he's known for.
Unless you saw him on V and V: The Final Battle, then he was much more tame than he was as Freddy Krueger.
And I did over and over, and I think I still own the full thing on VHS.
Yeah.
But that was growing up. V was huge for me, and you're right. He was that sweet alien. Sweet alien.
Shows the depth of the acting. We're going to take our first commercial break. You're okay to stick with us for the hour, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to take our first commercial break. We'll come right back and chat more with Yuri Lowenthal. Send us your questions. Text them in at 84126. Just put, hi, my name is, before you send the text, and we'll get it off there. We'll be right back after this. Please stand by.
It's the greatest time of the year again.
G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe attacks! Boom, boom! G.I. Joe takes the hill! Bam, bam! Horrific battle!
Terrific equipment to have a battle with. When you get G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment, you'll have the greatest realism, the greatest fun you ever had in playing soldier. Box after box of authentic uniforms and equipment, so you can change your G.I. Joe soldier into a camouflage Marine ready for battle, a Navy frogman with complete scuba suit and inflatable life raft, an Air Force pilot with high-altitude helmet and air vest. Get G.I. Joe and get G.I. Joe equipment, so you can set up exciting battle action whenever you want. Remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, look what's coming down the track. American Flyer, all aboard. It's something nifty, something new. The tracks are all mounted and wired, too. The scenery's painted and fits just so. Now, put on the train and away you go. To make a change, just shift them around. Snap them together, and in no time flat, you've got a brand new railroad.
Just like that.
American Flyer, all aboard. All wired and mounted. The scenery's complete. Put the train on the track. It's really neat. The American Flyer, all aboard. Complete with electric train, pre-wired tracks, transformer, all landscape, all ready to go. Years of fun for everyone with the American Flyer, all aboard by Gilbert.
Maris is ready. Here's the pitch. It's going, it's in there. A new Major League record, 61 home runs by Roger Maris.
Hi, kids. That sure was a day for me. Part of the thrill of baseball. The kind of real excitement.
Get a customized quote at
libertymutual.com.
Hi, this is Greg Weissman, the creator of Gargoyles and co-creator of Young Justice, and you're listening to Geek To Me Radio. Stay well.
Greg Weissman, one of the many, many directors that I'm sure Yuri has worked with in his career of 740-plus projects on Young Justice. We did get a question come in on one of our channels from Solas67 from Australia. Thanks for listening.
I know him.
Oh, do you? Well, how about
Yes.
Small World? I wouldn't want to paint it.
Right.
He wants to know, what is your favorite lesser-known character that you've done?
Oh man, I would normally say Mr. Miracle, but you called Mr. Miracle out right away. Mr. Miracle, I believe, has still not gotten his due.
I agree.
But yeah, as far as those characters, and you mentioned Greg, a moment ago. I love Greg, and I'm watching Gargoyles right now with my son. I use my 4.5-year-old son basically as an excuse to go back and watch things that I never finished.
That's perfect.
Or never got to.
I see nothing wrong with this.
Gargoyles is sensational.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so far ahead of its time.
And-
Xanatos's long game is ridiculous. But yes, but yeah, Mr. Miracle. I don't know. He'd be at the top of my list of sort of characters that have not quite gotten their due, I believe.
Now, since I know you seem like you're a fan just as much as I am, do you have, with all of your amazing things in their room there with you, a Superpowers Kenner Mr. Miracle figure?
Let's see. I don't think it's the Kenner one. Can you even see it in the background? You could just see his.
Yeah, kind of see the corner. Yeah,
you could see just the corner of him. Maybe it is the Kenner one.
That might be the 75th anniversary, like not the 75th anniversary, but the for the larger scale based on those though.
Because I try to. Let's see. I lost my headphones here, but we'll be back. Yeah, I try to, for the ones that mean something to me. I will always try to get toys, even though
it's beautiful.
They don't. Let's see. Here, we'll bring it back here. Yeah.
I think that's the big DC Legends sculpt, I think.
Oh yeah, I think you're right, because the Kenner one would have been much older. But yeah, because it came with Big Barda as well, and I think it was a while ago. She's probably still in the box.
So I'm sure obviously certain ones mean more to you than others, but do you have are you one of those people who's like, oh, I got to get this now because I voiced him on this show, or I've got to get a something? Do you have almost like a Batman bat cave with your giant dinosaur and your penny? Do you have a Yuri Lowenthal cave with all of the treasures?
You're sitting in it right now.
That's perfect.
And if we were pointed in the other direction, there's a shelf with more stuff up there. And it's funny because it is a mix of. At first, I was like, I'm only gonna put up stuff in there that I've been on, and I'm like, no, I have too many cool things that I love that to leave them in the box. So it's a mix of stuff that the characters that I have played and just stuff that I love. Going back to there's the Max up there from Liquid Television's The Max, and obviously the comic. There's Moon Knight. Moon Knight is close to my heart, and finally will be close to everybody's hearts with the new show. But Moon Knight's up there. I've got all the custom made figures that we had for our action figure show that my wife and I produced called Shelf Life. That is basically like Toy Story, but dirty and live action. And so and it was my way of getting all my weird little nerdy jokes about superheroes and sci-fi and stuff like that out into the world. It was super fun. But those action figures are up there too. Big Guy from Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot. There's some Pacific Rim stuff up there. It's not only my stuff. And tough to find Kuma from Afro Samurai. That I had to order from Japan, or I got while I was in Japan. So yeah.
And we've got just a bunch more questions poured in while we were talking here. We've got.
Great, I'll shut up then.
No, you're fine. This is great because they want to hear you. They don't want to hear me. But I'll be the conveyor for the questions.
Fair enough.
Chris Strawhun wants to know: is there a bucket list character or characters that you still haven't voiced that you'd like to take a shot at?
Yeah, the aforementioned Moon Knight. Because I always felt, like I was this guy, and I'm like, how do you not know this guy? He's like Marvel's Batman, only, in some ways weirder and
demented and
yeah, exactly. And you'll know him soon. But I was in a room once, and I can't say exactly because I don't know if it's aired yet, for a cartoon, and in the episode, Moon Knight was in the episode, and I had to stand by and watch another actor who I love dearly play Moon Knight, and it was hard because he had never read a comic book in his life, and I'm like, come on. He was asking me, I don't think he was asking me. I think I was like, every now and then he'd be like, I don't understand, and I would step in and try not to be too much of a but yeah, no, that would be. And our voices are like, I'll always audition for for every Batman that comes up. I'll audition, and I know that deep down inside, I know that I'll always play Robin. It's just the nature of my voice, I don't have like a Batman voice, but it's yeah. I mean, Batman right up there with Moon Knight, the Joker, are coveted roles by any actor worth their nerdydom. But yeah, those are a couple. But yeah, there's I mean, thankfully there are plenty out there, and we're seeing more and more shows dedicated to smaller characters that I never thought would reach the screen.
Which is great to see those things. They're kind of these I don't want to say B-listers, but they're kind of getting their due now. Where Disney Plus alone is giving us like a She-Hulk series and stuff. And I'm blown away.
Yeah, I remember reading the list of what's coming up on Disney Plus, and I thought it was like somebody's joke list. Like I was like, that's impossible.
Yeah,
They could,
sure.
Oh my, no, this is a reputable news outlet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to think all the stuff that we're getting as from Disney and DC's both. DC's really starting to put out their anime, and you've obviously
Doom
you've been
Patrol.
in so many.
We got a live action Doom Patrol show. For God's sake.
I would love to have Timothy Dalton and Brendan Fraser and that entire cast just on a couch and just sit there and ask them questions like rapid fire. Would be great. The brilliant
I would just
show.
love to sit on that couch and watch you ask them questions.
We've got, speaking of other questions, we've got Connor from Connecticut, which is fun to say. He said that...
and then there was just like a little things. That, and I have learned to, in the session, like, to shut up more. That may sound terrible, but I'm always so excited to be there that I have especially in the beginning, I would have a tendency to always want to make jokes and always want to do this and always want to have conversations because more often than not, the director is also a huge nerd and we get to talk about movies or whatever. And I go off. I have to remind myself to shut up a little bit more. We get more done. And at the end of the day, they're like, hey, we got a lot done with him today. Maybe we'll, ask him back because we can clearly get through it. Whereas in the past, I don't think I always did that.
Okay. All right.
So
good advice. Hopefully, Connor, hopefully that helped. Let's see. We've got Eva or NeoDiva 2002 on Twitter wants to know.
It's all my friends. Like I know these people.
You've got people. We've got. They're called Deadheads for the Grateful Dead. We have to call them some. We've got to come up with a cool nickname for your fans.
Okay, great.
We'll think about it. We'll workshop it throughout the show. But she wants to know what is it like preparing and recording for My Dear Old Pal for Call of the Sea.
Oh, Call of the Sea was an amazing video game that I worked on recently. It's like an indie game. It reminded me when they pitched it to me, and they pitched it to me probably because my other good dear friend Sissy Jones had been cast in it, and they came to me and they said, they showed me some visuals. They told me what kind of game it was. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Myst, like when I grew up playing Myst. And they're like, yeah, but it's in this Lovecraftian world. And I said, stop right there. Whatever you need me to do, I'm in. Because Lovecraft is also a deep hole of nerddom for me. And so we play these two sort of, I play this character who goes off to solve his wife's, to try to come up with a cure for this strange disease she has. And I come across this cult, and we're down in the islands near Tahiti, and I disappear, and she comes after me. But there's they pitched us, why would you guys want to sing a song together? We thought it'd be really sweet that in the end credits, we have this recording of you guys singing together before anything went down. And singing terrifies me. I'm not a trained singer. I'm not a good singer. I can carry a tune sometimes in a very narrow range. So I found, here's another one for you, Connor. The things that scare you, and this might apply to life, I don't know. Although if it involves like tigers and sharks and stuff like that, you may want to avoid this bit of advice.
Poisonous snakes.
Right, exactly. But things that scare you are usually the worthwhile choice. So it scared me, and my initial instinct was no, because I don't want to look bad. But I did it. And Sissy and I both rehearsed and worked with a vocal coach, and then we got to sing this beautiful song together that came out great. And so there you go. It just goes to show you that sometimes if you try those things that scare you, they actually work out. And it never would have happened if I hadn't been pushed into it.
I agree. And we're going to have in April, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to have Colin Mockery on the show talking about improv. And I think improv is something that you don't have to be an actor to use improv, because I think that's going to help you in everyday life. Just that ability to be able to say yes and kind of move on. I think it makes you a better person, more fundamentally able to handle what life throws at you. And obviously, as an actor, it's definitely one good one in your tool belt. Did we lose you? There we go. I think you're back. Said connection interrupted.
Yeah. No. So I was just going to say it. My improv training brought me much more confidence both in situations as well as my job.
Definitely. Yeah. And speaking of, I think we're going to take one. We got a couple more questions coming in. I'm going to get to your questions. Right now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come right back, and we'll be chatting for more of this hour. We've got him on for the whole time with Yuri Lowenthal. Please stand by.
A hot single to right. And the next one, a strike. The pitch, a smashing double to left field. Another run batted in. All the skill and excitement of World Series when you play Roger Maris Action Baseball by Pressman. Now you can hit home runs just like Roger Maris.
Yes, kids. There's nothing like the thrill of baseball. And now it's yours.
Get Roger Maris Action Baseball today, $2.98. Oh boy, a Pressman toy.
Voice control, Kennedy Airport. The tower speaks and tells you what to do.
Remco's voice control Kennedy Airport is just like a real airport. You get over 16 different orders from the tower's electro recorder that you hear through your earphones. Listen.
Ground control clears United 117.
Kids, for real excitement and adventure, take off with Remco's voice control Kennedy Airport.
Steve Canyon to control.
.com/news12.
Hi, this is Andrea Romano. I happen to be the voice director for many animated series, including the Justice League. You are listening on Geek To Me Radio.
Before we get too much further, I want to make sure I tell you about our official movie sponsor, Marcus Theaters. Marcus Theaters and Movie Tavern. You can go to the website, marcustheaters.com. They're making it safe to go back to the movies. It's one of the biggest things I missed during COVID is being able to go see a movie in a dark theater with a huge tub of popcorn that I shouldn't be eating, drinking the soda that's probably not good for me, but that's I love that environment. And Marcus Theaters Movie Tavern are open. They're doing limited capacity. You must wear masks even when you're in your seats if you're not eating or drinking. You can download the Marcus Theaters app so you can buy your tickets on the app, buy your concessions right there. They'll be waiting for you when you get there to see your movie, so it's a more contactless experience. And right now, if you go to the website, marcustheaters.com, find the location closest to you, the Marcus Theaters or Movie Tavern location. You can rent a private cinema for you and 20 friends, $99. They'll list of movies you can do. It's amazing. I can tell by the look on Yuri's face that he's impressed by this. He's probably going to download the app as soon as we get off this interview. Marcus Theaters, making it a great time to go see a movie once again. You can check out Raya and the Last Dragon is out. You can go see Kong versus Godzilla. And we just saw The Courier, which was brilliant with Benedict Cumberbatch if you're like that 1960s spy type stuff. Always a good time to go see movies. Go to the website, marcustheaters.com, to find the location closest to you, get your tickets, and it's the best movie-going experience in the galaxy. As we came back from that commercial break, we were talking, we had Andrea Romano playing, and I saw you got that big smile across your face. You must have worked with her, I'm
you
sure.
Can see me during the commercial. Oh, I love her so much. I owe her so much, and I miss her so much. We talk, occasionally, but not like we used to when we were working together.
And I know we've had, because it's actually Susan Eisenberg, who's one of my, such an amazing person. She actually connected us. Yeah. And so I know a lot of the people from the Justice League cast, we've had Carl Lumley and we've had Michael Rosenbaum all say that they love that they can look across the booth and see the reactions as they're all in the booth together. A lot of stuff you do, I'm sure, for video games. I'm not sure if it was like this much for Dota Dragon's Blood. You're doing these by yourself. It's a lot harder, I guess, to you don't have that reaction of the other person like you do in theater, in live acting. So talk a little bit, if you would, about let's talk about Dota Dragon's Blood, because it was such a beautiful project. Talk a little bit about your work creating that character and creating the voice for him.
I loved to go back to what you were just talking about. They did try as much as possible to bring the full cast in. By full cast, not everybody, but if there were a lot of scenes with certain people in them, they would try to bring us in together so we could get the reactions off of people. And I do always, like that best if we can do it. But then we recorded a significant amount of that show in like COVID time. Yeah. So we were all recording remotely from home or from lockdown locations. So we didn't get to do that. Although in a couple of instances we at least got sort of like a Zoom thing going so that some of us could, not exactly be acting in the same room, but as close as we were going to get. And yeah, I do believe, I believe any actor you'll see working in this business can do a great performance without somebody across them, but you will always get a better one, and there will always be something a little extra special when that actor is reacting off of what's immediately being thrown at them. 100%. For Davion in Dota Dragon's Blood, the writer, the head writer showrunner Ashley Miller and I have been friends for a very long time, and it was really nice to be, but we don't always get to work together. As a matter of fact, we've only really worked together once before on Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh wow!
Which was a whole other story and loads of fun. But for this one, we really got to spend a lot of time together creating that character, and it was just a terrific. Now, because it is descended from a well-known video game property, not well-known to me at the time, but with a huge fan base, we also were beholden to a certain extent to go around bouncing those voices off. But every now and then I'll hear somebody's voice, or somebody's voice in a movie, or I'll try an impression of somebody, and it'll end up not sounding like them at all. It'll be a terrible impression, but there'll be something about it that I'm like, oh, but maybe I could use that in the future, and nobody will know that I'm actually doing an impression. So that comes up every now and then. I know that some actors are really good at cataloging those things. When they come up, they'll even maybe record some stuff so they have that, they can file that away. And I'm unfortunately not that industrious or well put together. But yeah, things come up all the time, little things. And more often than not, I will be like, you know what, I should use that thing. And then I forget it.
Oh.
When the time comes to access any of that data,
Right.
I just have to sort of trust that it's in there somewhere, and maybe it'll come out if it needs to.
So a lot of these times when you're working on a certain project, does it help you? Are you a visual person? Like if you see the drawing of a character first, does that lend more, or is that kind of like, oh, I didn't picture him to look like that, I'll have to adjust where I was doing the voice at? Does it help to have the visual aspect of that at all?
I love having the visual aspect when we can. We don't always get that. More often than not, even in the audition process, they'll have some art for the character, but not always. And I like having that. It gives, I don't always have to, I don't feel like that I'm a slave to that, but any little thing that I can, get from the world that they're trying to create will definitely inform my choices. And then, after that, we all work together to really, hone it.
I always think it's interesting too, because like I said, all the projects you've worked on, well, let me ask that question. Is there anybody who you know of that you haven't had the chance to work with that you would really like to get the chance to work with, be it in the voice industry or an actor who sometimes does voice or in a live action thing? Right. Is there anything?
There are many, because like I said, I'm a huge movie buff. And I've been watching cartoons be there. And he was going to be signing autographs after a screening of one of the films. And I remember lining up and waiting and waiting and waiting. And they cut off the line right after me. No, after me.
Oh, after, okay.
So I was the last guy. And I walked up to him. And I don't have these kind of balls now. This is back when I was young. I walked to him and I said, Mr. Chow, I'm such a huge fan, blah, blah, blah. Your hand must be tired from signing all these autographs. Here is a picture of me. And I handed him my headshot. And I said, I really do hope to work with you someday. And he did a very small thing that I'll always remember. He looked at the picture and he got out of his chair and he stood up and he shook my hand and he said, I hope so too.
Wow.
And you know what? Even if he didn't mean those words, to move on, or because he could tell in my eyes that I needed to hear something kind. Throughout my career, that was always a touchstone for me. I'm like, maybe if I do this enough, maybe if I work harder, maybe someday that will come true, and I'll get to recall that conversation with him. Those words gave me strength, even though they were minor, and I'm sure he forgot them, 60 seconds later. They meant something to me. And what was the question again?
if there's a certain actor that you want to work with, yes, yeah.
Right. Well,
that you haven't yet.
Well, he would be one. I love Keanu Reeves and always have throughout everything. And while I have never met him, I did see him in a lobby once when I was in the studio recording for something else, and he was recording Cyberpunk. I have no idea. But he was just in the lobby and he was talking on the phone. And even though we didn't even share a word and he didn't even look over, like he was, in his own world, which is, totally fine, his own, right, and as it should be. I felt like the rest of the day, I felt like I was riding like a flying unicorn or something like that. Like I felt like an angel had touched me. Just the seeing of Keanu Reeves in the wild was so exciting to me and fun.
Well, now that you said that, I want to see Keanu Reeves and Yuri Lowenthal in a reboot of Touched by an Angel. Now that's all that's in my mind for some reason.
There you go.
And you said you can't sing, so you might not be more for the Della Reese role than maybe that's Keanu's forte is singing. Who knows? But that'd be an interesting.
That guy could do anything. Yeah, I'm sure if called upon.
And with being the voice of Spider-Man in so many of these projects, I don't want to keep coming back to Spider-Man. But
I still have you, please.
Oh, you still there?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I just saw something come to say connection interrupted, so it's probably something atmospheric out there. Who knows? But with having voiced so many iterations of Spider-Man, I met Dan Gilvezan one time at the convention. I said I'm a huge fan. That was my Spider-Man cartoon I grew up watching when I was in my formative years, and I said I always hear that voice when I'm reading comic books. You've worked with all these different actors who've done Marvel Comics roles. You've been in these roles with them. Who are for you the voices of your child that you really do
so? And he's a very he's a tall guy, and he's got that very intense voice.
Right.
And I just remember thinking all the questions I wanted to ask him, all the stuff I wanted to talk to him about, but being absolutely terrified to open my mouth other than to say my lines. And I don't think I ever did, until much later. We haven't had many conversations, but definitely that first day, not at all.
Yeah, and again, he's now the voice of Lex Luthor and always will be ever since Justice League. That is the Lex Luthor I want to see on screen as well. That kind of down and dirty business kind of guy, but really the monster behind. He has that voice cadence perfectly.
And funny that him and Rosenbaum get to work together on Justice League.
Right, that was absolutely brilliant.
And have one of my favorite exchanges when they've done the body swap in an episode, in the bathroom moment, and he says, they look at it. I think it's. Luther's about to leave the bathroom, and they're like, "Hey, aren't you gonna wash your hands?" And he looks at him. He's like, "Oh my God, have I been caught? Do they know it's?" And he says, "No, because I'm evil."
That's right.
But it was the Flash in the anyway.
Right. The Great Brain Robbery. That's a great episode.
Very well done. Thank you.
And just all the stuff you've worked on, I can't imagine that there's much left as far as, obviously you want to keep certain roles that you kind of feel a little bit protective of since you've done them so much. Is Spider-Man one of those roles? Are there certain, is it Alucard? What are some of those roles that you kind of feel very like, that's mine, and no one else can do that voice?
Well, I have two feelings, and they're almost opposite, but it's the same. I think it's the same. With Spider-Man, it was said in Spider-Verse, anyone can wear the mask. And I believe it's true. We've had so many brilliant Spider-Men over the years, and we will continue to have more and more. But thankfully, they've carved out, Earth 1048 Spider-Man for that game. I do feel some ownership over that Spider-Man.
Okay.
And it's nice because there are so many Spider-Mans, running around. I can be excited to see new people play the role and to take up the mantle, but still have my own Spider-Man that's just for me. That one.
Yes, right there. I love that shirt.
Yeah, me too. So I do feel a certain ownership for that Spidey in particular, but I love seeing where they're taking it, and I love that there are so many Spider-Mans, and I've always loved Josh Keaton, and there will be no greater Spider-Man for me, being a Spider-Man appreciator. But there's so many great Spider-Verse, alone had several of the best Spider-Man ever, all in the same movie.
Yeah.
That was also the year that Nicolas Cage got to play both Spider-Man and Superman.
That's right.
Which I'm sure for him was probably, he's a big nerd. I'm sure that was a big deal for him too.
I have no doubt that would have been amazing. We're going to take our very last commercial break. We're going to come back. Are you okay to stick with us for a little bit longer?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. We're going to take this last commercial break. We'll come right back and finish our chat with Yuri Lowenthal. Please stand by.
Canyon jet helmet, exactly like Steve's, made by Ideal for junior jet pilots everywhere. Great for zooming along on your bicycle. It's made of unbreakable Fortiflex. That's right, it'll fit any size head. Here's the official Air Force insignia right up here on top. Here's your sun visor, and here's your oxygen mask. And right inside the oxygen mask, built in, you'll find a speaker so that you'll sound just like Steve on his intercom. Now, if you'd like a jet helmet like Steve Canyon's, remember only Ideal makes it. Ask for the official Steve Canyon jet helmet, only $2.98.
Here he comes, greatest toy you've ever seen, and his name is Mr. Machine. He is real, and for you he is ideal, and his name is Mr. Machine.
His outside is clear, you can see every gear.
Hey guys, this is Corey Payton. I play Cyborg on Teen Titans Go. Booyah! And get ready for some Geek To Me Radio. I hear it's real good.
And we're back. Want to make sure we tell you about our premier sponsor, the City of St. Charles. You can go to the website discoverstcharles.com. That's discoverstcharles.com. Plan your trip now. We're hopefully seeing a light at the end of this COVID tunnel. People want to get out and want to start doing stuff again. If you're wanting to explore someplace you've not been before, may I recommend the City of St. Charles. They've got food places you won't believe. If you're a foodie, they've got all those historical buildings with the statues and the placards. And, you know, this was the first official state capital of Missouri. If you're a history nerd, if you want to just get out and do some shopping, they've got all these little shops that you won't find anywhere else with a lot of cool stuff. And we want to support these local small businesses. No one's had it harder during COVID than these places. So make sure if you're watching this and you're in the St. Louis area, go out and check out Main Street, St. Charles, the whole area. Plan your trip. If you're from out of town, want to go someplace new, discoverstcharles.com. Find little bed and breakfasts, hotels with world-class accommodations. You can do it all from the website, discoverstcharles.com. As we always say, it's an historically good time. We're finishing our conversation as we draw to the end of the hour. I can't believe it's already been an hour talking with Yuri Lowenthal. This is crazy because I feel like we probably have you on for another hour and still have stuff to talk about.
Maybe we'll have to do a sequel at some point.
We will. I'd love to have you back. Absolutely. Speaking
in
of,
the meantime, talking about history, I'd love for them to build a statue to Corey Payton. He is truly the best of us.
I mean, if they don't, it's gonna be. It's probably one of those things. I know because I've met the guy several times. He's so humble, so nice. He'd probably be like Dolly Parton and be like, no. If you want to do one after I'm gone, that's fine, but I don't need one now because that's just the kind of guy Kari is as well, I feel.
I would visit Kariwood though if there was a Kariwood theme park.
Now this is another. You keep giving me all these things I didn't know I needed until I've heard about it. Kariwood, that's brilliant. I love it. I take it you probably worked with Kari on one of your numerous projects as well because I saw your face light up when you heard his voice.
Yeah. He's like I said, he's the best of us, and he's just fun. He's just fun. So warm and so smart and funny. Yes, we've worked together on a number of occasions.
And as we're drawing to the close here, I know a lot of times you've got NDAs you can't talk about. Are there any projects? We're obviously very excited for Dota Dragon's Blood on Netflix currently. If you haven't started watching that, it's breathtaking. It's going to draw you right in. You'll binge the whole thing in 2 nights. But is there anything else that you've got coming out that people can look forward to if you want to talk about it or promote or plug?
You know, I'm always very careful about talking about things that haven't come out yet because more often than not, they caution me not to.
Okay.
So I'm going to be careful. But I will say that there was a show that I did a couple of years ago called Orbital Redux. And it was on a platform. Legendary had a platform. It was going to be sort of their Twitch streaming service thing. And we did a live action sci-fi show where each episode was performed all the way through in one take, where all the music was performed live, all the visual effects, all the sound effects, everything was performed like a play, but looked like, an episode of TV.
Wow.
And it was truly one of the hardest and one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my career. But because of the platform, because the platform was so new and then went away soon after, not a lot of people got to see it. And I just want to say, because we haven't made an announcement just yet, but watch this space for news about Orbital Redux. And by this space, I just mean the internet, because I don't know exactly where it's at. Oh, DC, because I'm on your show.
Okay. And again,
it's
no
a different answer depending on the day.
It is. That's very much the case with me too. Billy Joel or Elton John?
Billy Joel.
And a favorite decade, 80s or 90s?
80s.
Perfect. I liked most of those answers. I just don't understand how people like crunchy peanut butter. Other than that, this has been a very pleasant speech.
I'm a monster. I'm a monster, James.
And let people know, too, if they want to keep up with you, because obviously you've got all these projects coming up. Where can people, where's the best place? Is there a website, or is it mostly on social media? Where can people find you?
Mostly social media. My website is horribly outdated, so don't even bother going there. But I'm definitely I'm vocal on Twitter and slightly on Instagram. But if you want to find out news, it's going to be Twitter. Yeah, it's at Yuri Lowenthal. Easy to find.
Perfect. And we've got just a minute before we start the outro music. So I do normally do this off there, but it's just easier to do it while we've got you on. So if you wouldn't mind, you've heard Kari Payton, Andrea Romano. If we could get a return liner for you from when we come back from commercial break, just any way you want to improv it. Hi, this is Yuri Lowenthal, throwing whatever you want, and you're listening to Geek To Me Radio. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hey, this is Yuri Lowenthal, but you may know me recently as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. And you're listening to Geek To Me Radio.
Perfect. We'll put some nice music behind that. It'll be great. So people, their faces will light up when they see or when they hear your voice. So that'll be the same reaction we'll get. This has been absolutely great talking to you. Like I said, there's been so many phenomenal projects you, and congratulations on Dota Dragon's Blood. It's got to be an immense source of pride that you've been able to give voice to so many amazing characters, and it's characters that you yourself have loved throughout your time enjoying the fandoms.
Yes, it's truly. I wake up every day and still can't believe it.
It's very cool. And if we didn't get to your question, I do apologize. But this will be up online if you want to take a look at it later. And I think hopefully we didn't offend you at all. We'll have you back sometime soon.
Yeah, I was about to say he hasn't asked me yet, but I'm already inviting myself to come back on to answer those questions next time.
Perfect, and maybe we'll see the other side of the trophy room if that's.
Yes, I'll take you on a tour next time.
Perfect, that'd be great as well. Thanks again, Yuri Lowenthal. It's a pleasure to speak with you. Continued success to you, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you, James. Thanks everybody for listening.
And that's going to do it for us. Make sure you check out our sponsors, the City of St. Charles, discoverstcharles.com, and marcustheaters.com. If you want to get out there and see movies, shop your local comic book store, support small business. Until next week, my friends.
It's not in the way you watch a zombie. It's not in the way you watch The Flash. It's not in the way you love Scotty Young Art. It's not in the way you play Mario Kart. It's not in the way you look when you make Game of Thrones references. That's our show. This is Geek To Me Radio. That's our show. This is Geek To Me Radio.
Thank you, Dragonhold. Good night.